Yo, what's good, everybody? Welcome back. It's your boy MIT King Khalid, unorthodox style of street minister, out here grinding for God at all times. Listen up. It's the community outreach segment on the What's Up With That Truth Not Tradition TV show. Listen, I always come on here during the week with these stories about how a positive can come from a negative situation, how the light can shine from the dark. I also come with stories how real roses can grow out of concrete. And I'm gonna tell you what, you are one of them roses. I'm gonna introduce this wonderful, wonderful individual right here in a moment. I'm super excited to have her on here, man. This has like been one of my most exciting mentors to watch, and watching all the movement that she does has inspired me big time. But before I get into that, I always like to come with some upcoming events. This week's Baltimore's Roundtable event, this will be this Saturday, Raw and Unmuted by Miss Marquita Ali Shaw and others on 7/16. That's this Saturday, I believe, at the Liberty Rec and Tech Center in Baltimore, Maryland, from 4 p.m. until, it's gonna be a couple speakers. I'm actually a guest speaker on that one. I'm gonna be sharing my testimony, my life story, speaking out about sexual molestation as a younger man, dealing with alcoholism and things like that. And there's other couple females that are gonna be sharing with the same type topics. It's gonna be pretty amazing, y'all. It's more information. Like I said, it's the BS movement. This one's the unmuted though, but this is the BS movement pretty much. Breaking the silence. How can we learn anything, ladies and gentlemen, if we keep our mouth shut? You know what it is, all the time. And then this coming at the end of the month on 7/30, we have from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. at Fort Lincoln Cemetery, we have the Domestic Violence Wears Many Tags in partnership with others presents the 6th annual Smile for Smiley Love Movement Community Memorial Day celebration of life. Right. Love, legacy to all victims of domestic and gun violence. And this is my sister's actual event. I mean, I'm gonna tell you how it's so special to me and why it's so special to me. I'm super excited to tell you, because if it's because of her, I'm actually where I am, I mean, somewhat as far as with motivational speaking and moving in the community. Is because of you. You got me out here. I never thought that Sharon would trigger me into turning into a motivational speaker, but that's what happened. But that's all the upcoming events, ladies and gentlemen. So if you need the information, you can DM me at any time. You can follow my followers. You can find Queen Offi's information on my stuff, share a lot of her information. So hit her up. She's gonna get into the story about how this all transpired, where the event was inspired from, all of that good stuff. So let's go ahead and get into who you are. All right, I'm gonna go ahead. So this lady, Queen Offi, to me is like I said, my mentor. I go to her for advice of certain things, actually different organizations to work with and stuff like that. I actually pretty much just like follow her lead for real. Wherever she go, I try to go and just try to join in anywhere I can. And she's always been open and welcome, and she's like that with everybody. Now listen, she go hard now. Don't play no games. You'll get it twisted, because you'll get yourself looking silly out there. But she has got a big heart, and she loves all, and she wants to help all. Trust and believe. With that being said, so Queen Offi, tell me a little bit about yourself. Where you're from, your background, history, things like that.
DC all day long.
DC?
DC.
Okay.
Born and raised in the city.
Right.
My background
What
is...
part of DC first? Home, what part?
Northeast, the belly of the beast.
That's what they call it? I like that.
The belly of the beast, okay? Yeah. And I grew up, in a 2-parent household. My mother and father was married for... Father. Yeah. That's both cool. of them, married for a long time. And I had a pretty good dinner table growing up. I didn't, but when that era that I grew up in, of course, was the crack era. So it was a whole lot of things going on outside the house. You know what I mean? So it's so easy to get caught up. So I was caught up.
Okay. I get that. What school did you go to? You went high school?
I went to McKinley High School.
McKinley High School. That's right. So shout out to McKinley for bringing
tech
out
ice,
one of
all
the
my
best.
tech ice out there. I love y'all.
There you go. Okay, community organizations, work, business. Like, what do you do for a living? Like, share with the people.
Well, of course, I have the organization, Domestic Violence Wears Many Tags organization.
There it is, right there.
And we are helping women, men, teens, boys, and girls that are victims and abusers of domestic violence. We are sort of the educational resource, because I don't think it's just a pamphlet that you can give somebody to help with this issue, because it's so bad.
Of course.
At this point, everybody at the dinner table was affected by domestic violence. So we want to have a transparent educational conversation. So when we talk about those tags, we're talking about verbal. We talking about emotional.
Remember, you taught me about one I didn't even know. That's financial.
We talking about financial
abuse, and it's real. It's real.
We talking about sexual abuse, and we're talking about physical abuse. And then I ordered them that way because I know that it don't start physical a lot of times. We always looking for somebody to have the marks of domestic violence.
Right.
When there are so many women and men in these relationships with no marks.
Okay.
It never has to be physical.
Oh, I understand. Oh, okay, I get you.
It can remain verbal and emotional for a lifetime for people and do severe damage.
Hey, listen up, ladies and gentlemen. It don't have to be physical abuse.
It never has to be physical.
Damage can stick with you all
I'm trying to tell you.
If you don't get the proper, help, of course.
You got to get the proper help.
So, okay. Well, what inspired you to create domestic
Because I was the victim and the abuser.
You was the victim and abuser.
Victim turned abuser all the time.
Oh, I'm gonna stop you right there because I don't want you to drop it out on them yet. Okay. All right. So the domestic violence wears many tags. Is this a nonprofit 501c3 organization?
That's right, working in the city.
Wow, look at that.
And we help, we have been to various schools around the city, community events, partnered with a lot of good organizations out here, with the same intention. And we've been doing this the last 15 years.
Okay, and they can get at you for all different types of resources, correct?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I hold a host of resources of people who, are looking for shelters to try to escape. Unfortunately, to our brothers, I'm sorry, we don't have shelters that are, able to take you in as a victim of domestic violence, but still reach out to Queen Offi. I got something in my back pocket for my brothers out there that are suffering in silence by living in these relationships, and they don't get the opportunity to be taught how to devise a plan.
Okay.
To exit the relationship.
I understand.
So you say sisters stay, our brothers stay too in these relationships.
Yeah, of course. And I mean, I'm like, you bringing that up, I might as well just go on spiral into the next part of this thing.
Go ahead.
So I always talk about how a negative can turn into a positive.
They're going
how
right.
the light can shine from the dark.
You looking at one.
I've been bringing these stories to y'all nonstop now. Last week's segment might not have been as raw as everybody else's, but everybody's walk is differently and powerful.
Yes, it is.
For the most part, it's always about the all-over victory and the finishing of what happens.
Absolutely.
So let's just get into some of the negative things, because when you hear these negative things that are about to come to you, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be bone-rattling. I'm going to let her go ahead and do her thing. Bear with us. Like, really bear with us, because it's some really touchy stuff. So y'all really pay attention and give her your undivided attention, because if you want to learn something, it's about to go down.
Folk have got to wake up, bro.
They about to go down. So let's start off. Childhood traumas. Did we deal with any really bad childhood traumas at all?
Terrible childhood traumas, and of course, sexual abuse is going to be one. At the dinner table.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Not me per se. I'm just saying in general. You want to ask me?
Yeah, this is the negative. Okay, so anything. Did you experience any early childhood trauma?
Absolutely.
Okay,
I was deep into the verbal abuse thing. And to me, I didn't understand at the time, how verbal abuse could really affect you psychologically.
Man, I'm a victim.
Right. Okay. And I didn't know that it tied right in with the emotional abuse. When you feeling down, you feeling low, you don't feel good about yourself because you're constantly wondering, am I good enough, or do I have to walk on eggshells today? So of course, yes, verbal and emotional abuse all day long. And financial abuse, I had my own bags, okay? I had my own bags. You weren't about to get me with the money, boo-boo, okay? Because in the crack era time, the money was fluent, baby. Everybody was eating at the dinner table,
everybody was eating money.
Okay.
I mean, I had that era. I went through my little time with that as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I had to, get a couple of boyfriends and treat them out. I use it as a pawn to pull the guys that I wanted at that time.
Well, get into the verbal abuse thing. Just real quick before I move into something else, I do want to raise awareness about verbal abuse. This thing that if you're experiencing verbal abuse from your parents or anything like
That's
that,
right.
This stuff sticks with the child too.
Yes, it does.
Because I actually have an issue and had an issue, and I'm working on it consistently, especially by the grace of God, because He can deliver anything.
Yes,
okay. That I actually used to use a lot of loudness when I would talk, and I mean some foul language too to my my children. I'm not perfect, please forgive me.
None of us are.
But yes, I used to be, and I remember being spoke to like that myself.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it just was like I normalized it.
Right.
So I thought this was good. So this is what happens.
Yeah.
This is another thing that happens. Not only the trauma that the person takes. I mean, they only take the trauma that's affecting them. They actually carry the characteristic with them too.
Yeah.
So we got to stop that at the dinner tables as well. Let's get into the nitty-gritty.
I mean, let's talk about verbal abuse though for a second, because when you sitting there calling your child dumb and stupid,
talk to him.
You little MF and these things that we say to our child.
Yeah.
How can the child believe in themselves? But people will call it reverse psychology.
Yeah, right.
How's there reverse psychology when you're tearing the self-esteem down of your own children sitting at the dinner table?
Teaching y'all something.
And not only that, not only do you do it to the children, but you and the husband, or you and the husband and wife and wife is doing it to each other in front of the child. Yeah. So the children are constantly hearing these negative things. There is no way that they can focus on being great.
To the highest potential.
Their highest potential.
No way, impossible.
And you have a lot of them who do seek the school as resilience to get away from it. There's a lot of those children
but not
too.
Many, like a lot of
not
them.
Many of them fall victim to verbal abuse psychologically, doing damage to them for years and years and years.
I can be a part of that and agree with that, because it has crippled me into my adulthood.
And then when you start going out and having your own relationship, you feel like that's the way we supposed to talk.
Exactly, and that's what I'm talking about right there.
You feel like, okay, that's how we talk. But that's not normal.
It's not normal. And to normalize that type of behavior is so sad, because
it's sickening.
Yeah, I have, and it's such a hard thing.
Somebody got to be the one to break the cycle when we get to these dinner tables and start talking to our children. Somebody got to let the children have a voice. It's not a question of your parenting. Tell me, the brain is actually working in the child. When the child says, "Mommy, why did you say that?" Or "Why did you do that?" You want to answer all your children's why questions, because if you don't, the abuser will.
Y'all hear that? Man, she gonna give it to you straight.
You got to answer the children's why questions. You're not doing your parenting job if you don't answer their why questions. Get out your little feelings about being a good parent.
Teaching me right now as we speak.
Because this ain't what it's about.
I'm listening for why questions.
It's about the child's psyche working.
Yes.
The child's brain working at that time. Asking those questions so they'll know why. So they'll know why you told them no. They'll know why mommy said that. They'll know why daddy said that.
Right.
Unless you want me to tell them. The abuser tell them all day long. That's why your children leave from behind the computer and go to the abuser.
I appreciate that. I really do.
I'm sorry.
No.
I ain't mean.
It's going to go even deeper, y'all. It's going to get even raw, because I'm going to go ahead and just come right out the bag. Let's get into this. I do know of a little bit of a situation. It inspired me to hear from you. Actually, it caught me. A lot of what you talk about is inspiring to me to fight back for the community. But you were in an abusive relationship that you had a part of, but now I know it was, you said it just a second ago, you were the abuser. You were an abuser, but you were the victim.
Victim turned abuser.
Listen up, ladies and gentlemen. The victim turned abuser. Okay? How's it? Just
a lot of that is trending.
So
because
talk about that a little bit.
You have it where, you in these relationships young, and you the person being beat up or spit on, or I done had many spit matches. This is nothing new. But anyway, you that person who is constantly calling the person, calling them names, and they calling you names, and it's just going back and forth.
This is the relationship
This is the relationship I'm in.
When you was in?
Yeah.
Okay.
And several relationships I was in. okay.
So it ain't no particular one.
Ain't no particular one. Okay, they all were bad.
Talk about it.
Okay, so then when my best friend got killed, my best friend got shot by her baby father 5 times. So when she got shot, I said, hold up, this will never happen to me.
You went on some
and
real.
I meant that, okay? And I took it to the level where, there was no end to it.
Okay.
I'm lucky to be sitting here, or blessed to be sitting here right now today, because I consciously beat that. I consciously beat up your son.
Positive from a negative.
And I was going to kill him.
We're going to get into all the good stuff after this too. But so let's go into how it turned into how it flipped though. So how did that come about?
When she got killed, I started going haywire.
So you started, so give me some examples of abuse to the man that you were doing. Like physically, was you whooping on him with your hands?
Smack him
around?
I would bust the car windows out.
Man.
I would spit on him.
So did he submit as a man at this point? Like, what do you think? Did you?
Some of them, no, I don't think it has nothing to do with submission. It just has everything to do with, you know, I know what I can do to him, basically.
Really?
I know what I could do to him, and I know how far I can go with him. Now, everybody ain't gonna let you spit on him. I got spit back on. Some of them fought me back, but so what? I don't care. Yeah. We going down together. We gonna go down together. Wow. You see what I mean? That didn't stop no show. That only amped it up. Yeah. You know, made it much more vicious.
Right.
You see what I mean?
Did any of this trauma that you were doing to the men, the abuse that you were doing to them, ever push any of them like over the limits? Like,
yeah.
Like how? Like,
yeah.
Like they wanted to kill themselves and all that?
Well, they ain't want to
that far.
They probably wanted to kill me more than themselves. They probably want to kill me more than themselves for sure. Believe that, because I was the pain in the cucaracha.
You ain't busting out the window. No,
I'm busting out the window. I'm flattening your tires all that. When I call your phone, you need to answer. No, you're not talking to your mother, and I told you couldn't talk to her. No, that's not going to happen on my watch. And people say, you short. Height don't mean nothing.
Oh yeah, it's that 5.
Height don't mean nothing, boo. It's how far you willing to go.
Right.
To show this person your psyche belong to me.
Wow.
Your psyche belong to me.
So
because
once you get that, then you knew it.
Once I got the psyche, you're done.
So what kind of signs would you see? Then you knew you
that
had
I knew I had.
You knew what you knew.
Because you be apologizing for something that I know I did. You talking about you sorry.
Y'all hear that? Y'all, hey, listen up.
That's what the abuser wants.
But if you get to that point where you are apologizing for something that your woman has done,
or that you know you know your baby father done, okay, you sitting there talking about you sorry, and you know I just did something to you. Why are you telling me you sorry for something that you know I just did to you? Because I got your mind. Wow. You can't think for yourself. Hey, because I'm always in your mind.
What's the old saying? It's a saying that you don't have to put them in shackles to bind them up. All you got to do is take their mind.
Take the mind. That's what the abuse is coming from.
Before. You don't have to lock somebody.
The abuser is coming for your mind, honey. We coming for your mind. Yeah, and people tell you, oh, leave. Where is that victim going when the abuser has his or her psyche? Where are they going?
Right.
Furthermore, I know every place that my victim gonna be. I know where she shop at. I know where he shop at. I know where they work at. I know when you pick the children up. I know when you drop the children. Where you gonna go when the abuser knows?
Is it 2 showers a day, 1 shower a day?
Child, please. The abuser track the victim like nobody's business.
Okay. So I appreciate that. Just to recap on that, hey, right here, she's telling you exactly what it was. Was a victim at one point. Couldn't take it no more. Her peoples got killed. She just flipped her mind and went right ham at brothers and started taking them mentally and started abusing men badly with all different types of traumas, like from physical traumas and mental and verbal and all these things. So it can happen to everybody.
Bro, the best abuser don't even hit you at all.
Hey, we just said it. Take your mind, like you said.
The best one will not touch you. The best one can just give you a look and you'll sit up and start putting your head on right.
Wow. I've seen that too. I've literally seen that.
You know the abuser is watching that tail. Yeah. And you better not show signs of me humiliating you, or you better not show signs of humiliating me. Because I got a whole persona to keep up. That's right. The best one don't hit you.
Wow. Y'all listen up to that, man. That's some good stuff right there. All right, let's go into the touchy. I got to get into it. So, negative into a positive.
Negative into a positive. You're looking at it.
Untimely loss of your daughter.
Yes.
Untimely loss. I mean, that's the easiest way I could have had brought it up. I didn't want to say like the untimely loss of your daughter. I'll leave the floor.
You know when you doing your thing out here, when you work for God, it's a very delicate invitation to take. Okay. It's a very serious invitation to take.
Everybody's not built for that.
Everybody is cold, but who's going to really answer the call? I answer the call. Amen. Okay, so I jumps out there and do what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm out here motivated to have this conversation. I'm having it with my young people. My daughter's on the trail with me.
Really?
Pushing me, Mom, say it. I want you to say it to them just like that, because my generation don't understand. They going through a lot. Yada, yada, yada. My daughter put me out there and told me that you need to keep saying it the way you say it because they hear you, right? So, you know, I'm having this conversation all around the city, all around DMV, all these kind of things. Baltimore, B-more in the house, all right. Having this conversation with everybody.
Yeah,
and
everybody in the world, listen up.
You know, 7 years. I'm on the ball. I'm going.
Right.
I'm murking. Everything, man. I'm everywhere
helping
and all that.
City popping. Queen Offi,
we popping.
Domestic violence, where's
going on, honey. Okay. And my daughter carrying my bags.
Okay.
Carrying my bags.
You the whole time.
Right there with me the whole time.
Sidekick.
You know, but then domestic violence knock on my door.
Like, talk about it.
Knock on my door 7/30.
7/30.
2016, honey. Okay, 7/30, 2016.
That's coming up.
It knocks up on my door, and my daughter been shot in the head while holding her 2-month-old daughter.
Oh.
See what I'm saying? See how that cycle going
Holding
from me
to
my daughter
literally
to now her baby.
Daughter.
Yes, holding her baby. You know, you come in there and put the gun to her head and shoot her in the head. For what? I mean, my daughter, she ain't no saint, but I'm gonna tell you something. She innocent.
Man, not to deserve something like that, man.
Not to deserve, nah. Me, yes, all day.
No, not that either.
Me, yes.
No, I ain't gonna let you go.
But my daughter, no. Absolutely not. You know, did not deserve that. But, you know, hard head make it soft, make her what? Hard head make it what? Make her soft behind, don't it? Because you try to tell them, they don't hear you. For some reason, a lot of people think that their stories are going to be different. They want the family that they never had before. I mean, they are driven by having this family they never had before. Yeah. And sisters and brothers are ending up dead for it. Most victims do not get out. They die.
If you don't mind me asking, like, what was the whole reason why he even had I mean, there is no sense in any of it.
He said it was by accident.
Really?
That's what he said.
By accident.
And what I look like, fool for the fool? I know how to
already knew us. So did you see any signs?
My daughter would talk to me. I would not, you know, and the thing about that, I couldn't be her mom, and that I had to be an expert to my own child to get her to understand what she was dealing with. Even though she was pushing me to have a conversation, it don't mean your child really understand it for themselves.
I understand that.
They see me she saw me doing a good thing.
Doing the good work.
But it may not have been for her. Okay? Because she saw her love life differently. Right? She didn't never see herself in no domestic violence relationship, but when she saw the signs, she bypassed.
Wow.
You know, that's a lot of people. When they start seeing them signs, they bypass.
Can you give me a couple of examples?
Verbal abuse. When somebody that's the number one way that somebody is going to know that they are being violated. When somebody constantly putting you down, telling you you're not good enough, when you know the person is cheating on you, you supposed to be believing your receipts. You believe the lies and you have the receipts right there. But you still choose to believe the lies.
That's when you're taking somebody's whole
betrayal gonna set in after that. It's right then and there the abuser know that he or she can kill you.
So that was kind of like in a progressive state, I guess, and it just got to the point where...
I mean, 3 years is young. 3 years is young.
He slipped up.
I mean, how much can my daughter have done to you in 3 years?
Unreal.
Was that bullet really for my child? How much can my daughter have done to you in 3 years? Within the 3 years, she gave you a baby. You ought to be glad.
Man.
You would think the baby would make the situation, but babies make the situation worse. We do not do babies no justice. Borning them into verbal abuse, emotional abuse, financial. We are not doing them no justice. Borning children into the relationships like that.
Especially if you're just trying to save the relationship.
They end up dead. Really the children end up orphans.
Well, that's sad.
Now, my baby got to grow up at the funeral. Y'all about to, come on. Move on to the next question.
All right, well,
because I'm about to go ham.
Well, I'm sorry, but I mean, that's kind of leading into that. I mean, if it's too much, you just tell me.
Nah, go ahead.
So, this is some of the negative stuff, like you being left with your granddaughter to raise.
At the graveyard.
Being left with your granddaughter to raise.
Yeah.
You raising that pretty baby by yourself.
And you know what, though? She's so beautiful.
She is, 100%.
And she feisty like me, something my daughter wasn't. Okay, so I get a little kick out of everything that we do together.
I see it all the time, because that's your road dog, too.
She my little road dog there. We get together, we be hoorah, hoorah.
Okay, look, let's switch it up. All right, listen, I'm going to shift off that topic real fast, because y'all already seen it can get very touchy. We ain't trying to lose it on here, because we doing very, very well.
I swear we trying to keep our minds together up in here.
So let's talk about the good stuff, all right?
What's the good stuff? Because this conversation ain't good.
Negative turning into a positive. Light can shine from the dark.
Yes, it can.
A real rose that grew out of the concrete.
Yes, it can.
Now, here we go. Let's get into the good stuff.
What's that?
All right, the good stuff is all the great stuff. What about education?
Education is key.
All right, what triggered you to start pushing as hard as you did? Well, the domestic violence was already established when this happened, unfortunately, to your daughter.
Yes.
But after that, was there a surge, a real push? Like, I'm pretty sure it was a moment of grieving and down.
Look. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't.
You went right in it.
I never left. When my daughter was murdered, right?
Here we go.
Within 4 hours, I got my baby girl back from CPS, no thanks to her father. Mm-hmm. Got my baby back, right? Boom. I had an event to do the same day, bro. The same day it was an event to do when my daughter got murdered.
No.
I had to be over to church within 6 hours of my daughter being murdered. So I got something on my shoulder saying, you got to go to the event. You can't cancel that event. You got to go.
What?
I end up at the church, boo.
Hold on, when you said church, you was doing, was it ministry?
We was doing the Men Hurt 2 panel.
Oh, okay. I get it now. Okay,
so you went at the church.
The Men Hurt 2 panel I spoke on?
Yes, we was doing it in person.
Okay.
The day my daughter was murdered.
And you went through with it?
I went to the event.
Okay.
Nobody really had known at that time that my daughter was murdered. But we had a house full of people there, to come out and see the men and support them on the panel. I tell them at the end of the panel that my daughter was just murdered 4 hours ago.
On the panel?
On the panel. You could hear a pin drop. Because people was like, what is she doing here? Oh my God, who is this person? I don't know who I was.
My spirit, that Holy Spirit driving.
I don't know what was going on. I can't tell you what was going on. I don't know what was happening. It was a blur. I don't know what was going on. I just know my daughter jumped on my shoulder and said, if it's ever a time, it's now.
Well, I'm going to tell you what, this has been some great news. Let's get into all the other great stuff. I mean, all the programs that you got. Domestic violence wears many tags pretty much wraps up almost all the positivity. I mean, let's talk about all the people that you didn't help.
They ain't never played my song, bro.
Well, hey, you what? Let's hit the song. Can we hit the song for Queen?
They ain't never played my song. Play that song, lady.
Is your song playing?
That's right.
This is Young
Yo, listen up, everybody. This is Queen Offi.
And I have a topic today.
Yeah. While we listen to that,
often overlooked.
Talk about motivational speaking.
What's going on?
Domestic violence.
You do motivational speaking?
That's right. I tell y'all like it is, baby. Okay. And I give you a hug.
So QueenAfi, if you're listening,
you know what though? But you know what though?
Check it out.
Yes, I was.
Wow. Positive from a negative.
Look, I have never shut up. And it's not by my own recording. But I have never shut up since this happened to my child. But anyway, look, I go in the school system telling my story. I get some of the children that don't like me. Because I have told them my story. Okay? They don't want to give me a hug. I come to the churches and places like that, tell my story. They walk the opposite direction. They don't want to give me a hug. Because I have given them jewels, baby. And you feeling some kind of way because I have dropped them nuggets in the spirit.
It usually happens at home behind closed doors, but it's spreading through high schools and college dorm floors for the victim. It's like they got their head in the news from all the scars of the physical and verbal
for
abuse.
16, 17 years now. That's the positive stuff. I mean, you gotta see it for yourself. Just go to her website, go check her out, and just do it like that. We'd like to say thank you for joining the community outreach segment. This is Queen Offi, Domestic Violence Wears Many Tags. This is your boy, unorthodox style of street minister King Kali, always grinding for God. What's up with that? Truth, not tradition, ladies and gentlemen. Truth, not tradition. We out of here.
Peace.
What's up with that? What's up with that? Yeah. Why is it I gotta die even if I comply?